Hi, my name is Raymond Reffell, and my years of experience as a realtor has taught me a few things. However, I can say that the favorite part of being a realtor for me is that selling or buying a home is the biggest transactions most people would ever make in a lifetime, and helping to facilitate that transaction on the client's behalf is very rewarding for me. Ensuring that our clients net the most for us is very simple. And what we try to do is to be very proactive with each transaction with our coming soon strategy. For instance, prior to putting a house on the market, we take initiative to create awareness of this property through various means such as advertising, social media, hand mailing, all tailored to each seller's preference, because not all sellers want their property on the internet. Not all sellers may want too much information disclosed about their property. One of the things I do to ensure my client get the most amount for their home is the 7-point selling strategy, which propels their home above the competition. I believe that most realtors are very reactionary. They're okay with putting a yard sign in the house and leaving it at that. But we take steps to ensure that your house is being marketed. We go above and beyond to ensure that your house is getting the most attention compared to other homes for sale in your neighborhood. Also, staging the property properly is just one of the other things we incorporate in our marketing and presentation strategy. Yes, we're selling homes very quickly. For instance, my last listing was only on the market for 7 days before getting an offer. And even when it got an offer, while we were under contract, we had multiple parties who were interested. And the way we do that is by executing our coming soon strategy, which I mentioned early in this video. For instance, reaching out to active buyers in the market and active and top performing real estate agents in the market, informing them about the home. I believe most agents are very reactionary. They wait for the business to come to them. However, we try to be very proactive by reaching out to a list of active buyers who we engage with through our coming soon marketing activity. And that's how we're able to ensure that our clients net the most for their home, and in a very timely manner. I don't believe in signing a long-term listing contract because my primary goal is to ensure that sellers net the most for their home in a very short amount of time. 30 days, preferably, at most 45 days. However, at any point during the transaction, if a seller doesn't feel satisfied with the service that's been provided, all they need to do is simply send an email to terminate the contract. There are 3 things I believe sellers care the most about in a real estate transaction. 1, how do they net the most for their home? 2, how do they ensure that they keep the most amount of money in their pocket after the home sells? And 3, just the entire process. How smooth was the transaction? And as you know, all commission is negotiable. So what I try to focus on is to ensure that the seller gets to keep the most amount of money in their pocket per transaction. That way, when we do get to the closing table, that check that the seller gets to take home is as high as it can be. And in regards to the transaction process, I definitely believe in making sure I communicate every week with the seller on updates such as how many showings we got, whether or not we should drop the price, are we getting multiple offers to where we can actually get more than asking price, even at times when the home has been on the market for a while. What we know for a fact is most real estate agents give a potential seller all these hopes and expectation. However, let's say in a situation where the home doesn't sell as fast, they go silent and they hardly ever communicate with the seller. We try to ensure that during the entire process, we reach and touch bases with the client at least once a week, so they're very much updated on how the transaction is progressing. Finally, my philosophy, mindset, or strategy when selling someone's home is to ensure everything is done in a proactive manner. It's to just put myself in the seller's situation. I always try to over communicate. I'd rather a seller tells me, okay, I'm good, you don't need to tell me that, I know you're doing your job, rather than they calling me asking any updates on the process. Secondly, we do all we can to ensure the seller gets the most amount for their house by not just putting a yard sign in front of the building, but by actually doing the work, marketing the property, reaching out to agents in the area, informing them about the home sale, or open houses. We actually try to do at least 2 open houses a month, but all these things are based on the seller's needs. Some sellers are not okay with open houses. They may not want their neighbors to come look through their home. So we tailor every transaction to meet a seller's needs. Feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Thank you very much.